Hey everybody. This is going to be video 1 of 3 that I am posting for the Winter 26 Unit 1 practice exam. The blank practice exam is already up on Canvas. We went over most of this stuff as much as we could get to yesterday. So I'm just going to go over it again, make a reference video for you all. And I'm going to start with correct number of sig figs when we do calculations. Okay, so this will be, again, video 1 out of 3. I'm also going to go over basic conversions and density. So we'll get started with this. I do want to review the rules, okay, for math and sig figs. The general idea is that we categorize them, right? So if we're doing addition or subtraction, we're looking for the least certain digit in the number that we're working with. So least certain digit, you can also think of this, if you have decimal points as, how many decimal points do I have? I'm looking for the least number. Although be careful thinking about it that way. I know I just said you could, but if the number doesn't have a decimal point, it would be beneficial. It would behoove you to understand what least certain digit means, especially if we're dealing with purely whole numbers, okay? So that's how we're determining sig figs with addition and subtraction. When we do multiplication or division, we're looking for something different, right? We're looking for the least number of sig figs, okay? So again, you're going to apply your sig fig counting rules. How do you count them? Leading zeros, trailing zeros, does it have a decimal place? And you'll just apply that exactly as is to any math problem that involves multiplication or division, okay? So I'm going to do numbers 1 through 4 on this practice exam. Hopefully this will help clarify some of the rules so that you can apply it when you're taking the real exam. So for the first one, number 1, 3.447 plus 11.36. So I know that in my answer, I'll be looking for the least certain digit. So you can honestly just plug this into your calculator and your answer should be 14.807, right? That's what the calculator pops out with. Now I have to determine where to round off to. Great question, okay? So looking at this first number, 3.447, I see that my 7 is going to be my least certain digit, and that is sitting in the thousandths place, okay? That's a very specific number. So I have high specificity in this number. Let's look at 11.36. I don't have as many decimal places here. My 6 is my least certain digit, and it's sitting in the hundredths place. So the 6, the hundredths place, and or 2 after the decimal is where we want to round to, okay? So I'm going to look here. That 0 is in the spot 2 after the decimal. And so that's where I'm going to cut it off. If I look to the right of the 0, I have a 7. And according to rounding rules, 7 greater than 5, you're going to round the 0 up by 1. So your final answer for this should be 14.81. Slay. All right, the next one, number 2, 8,450.568 minus 3,100.12. So again, this falls into those addition subtraction rules, and I'm just going to plug this into my calculator, and what I get out is 5,350.448. The next question would be, again, where do I round this? If I look at my first number, that big 8,000 number, I look at the last digit, the 8. Again, like number 1, it's in the thousandths place. Very specific, 3 after the decimal. If I move over to that 3,100.12, my 2 here is in the hundredths place, okay? So that is less certain than the 8 in my 8,000 number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, I can only go to 2 after the decimal. So in my answer, I'm going to cut it off right there. Just getting rid of 1 digit, okay? Because there is an 8 there after the 4, it means I'm going to round that last 4 up. And my final answer should be 5,350.45. Hopefully we're following along up to this point. This is how we determine our least certain digits, okay? So I'm going to move down a little bit to numbers 3 and 4. Now we're dealing with our multiplication and division. These rules are different. We're just counting the sig figs, and whichever one of these numbers has the least amount of sig figs, that's what I want my answer to have as well. So I'm going to plug this stuff into my calculator for number 3, 0.06331 times 1.24. And I'm popping out with this big number, small number, but a lot of decimal points, 0.0785044. That's a lot of decimal places. So, first thing I'm going to do is count how many sig figs I have in each of my initial numbers. So, looking at 0.06331, neither of these leading zeros are going to be significant, okay? But these 4 whole numbers will. So, in this one, I have 4 sig figs. Looking at 1.24, that's, a little easier to figure out. All of these are whole numbers. So all of them will be significant, and I will have 3 sig figs. Now, funny enough, this is actually the problem that I needed to correct on the answer key for the Unit 1 practice exam. It has been corrected. I will repost that when I post these videos. I believe in the initial answer key, when I was going to round my answer, I had counted this leading zero as significant. I would like to specify this is not significant. Okay? We're not getting rid of it. It's still part of the number, but in terms of rounding, we don't actually start counting from the 0. I'm going to start counting my sig figs from my 7. And I know I want 3 of them. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, right? This is my cutoff point. If I look to the right of the 5, for rounding purposes, I see there's a 0, so I don't have to round. And my final answer will be 0.0785. Nice. Sorry for that initial mistake. Like I said, it's been corrected. So hopefully we can understand proper sig figs for multiplication and division without my, mistakes. LOL. Okay, last one is going to be number 4. So I have 49.85 divided by 6.9832. I am going to just pop that into the calculator, and what I get out is 7.13856, and it just continues to go on, right? Very long number. So I'll just stick with this for now. Again, with division or multiplication, I'm simply wanting the least number of sig figs to match in my answer. So go to those original numbers and count sig figs. 49.85, all whole numbers, okay? That has 4 significant figures. Look at the next one. 6.9832, all whole numbers, 5 sig figs. So I'm going to want my answer to have 4 significant figures. Okay? So I'm going to say, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to cut it off right after the 8. All right? Oh my god, if you rearrange these, it would be 1738. Fetty Wap. Okay. Anyway, if I look to the right of the 8, I see a 5. Okay? That 5 means, I'm going to round up. So with rounding, my new answer should be 7.139. All right, we're getting a hang of it. So these rules will be the same. They will apply to every calculation that you do. On the exam, there is a kind of an acceptable range, right, of what your answer could be. So don't worry about it too much. I will look through these all individually. And again, this is video number 1 of 3. So move on to the next video after that, and we can keep prepping for the exam.